These guys wouldn't share jack with me, you know, because it was competitive, because they were making good money, and, you know, they didn't want to give away all their little skills. And I quit that job after about, I don't know, 9 months, and I got a job with a huge, you know, Tenneco. This was in '92. And when I went to the employees at a job fair day, they said, "How much are you making?" And I took a job there. You know, but I learned a few things, and those, you know, little pinheads that I worked with are still, some of them have retired there.
So your story shows an interesting thing on how we get better.
Yeah.
The only way for us to get better is that we go and do interesting projects. So we have to do interesting projects to become better. But we only get growth. You become a little bit better, and because of that, you get to work on a more interesting project, and then you become better, you go on a more interesting project, you become better, you go on a more interesting project, and it's a spiral of growth. So the best way, project. So what's the best way to work on an interesting project? Go share what you know. Because people on interesting projects are going to say, "Hey, she knows what we need. Let's hire her because she knows what we need." And the cool thing is that once you do, that only depends on you, it doesn't depend on others. You know, we have to create this spiral of growth. Okay? So really fast, so we can finish here. The one thing that everyone talks about is, okay, so now we know how to get better.
I have to roll out actually, like right now.
Okay, yes, it's okay.
I'm so
no
sorry.
Problem. No problem, there's no problem.
I hate Siri.
Yes. So, you know, so you have to get better, more mileage, working on interesting projects, but how we do this faster? Because faster is like the thing that everyone wants to, right? How do I do this faster? And just because we want. So there's no faster. But there is two things that is really important. One is, it's not about being faster. It's about being, it is the consistency that will make things really happen. So it's not about faster, it's about consistency. If you do it consistently, things are going to happen better for you. That's one thing. The second thing about being faster, remember it's all about doing. So, you know, so instead of we learn to do, right? Because that's what we do. I mean, we learn. Actually, that's, you know, instead of learn because we want to learn everything and never do it, we have to do separate, different. We have to always learn to do. That's what we call just-in-time learning. I'm going to try to do. I'm going to do a project. I'm going to do a code. I'm going to do. And when I can't do, I'm going to learn a little bit so I can try to do it. And never doing, I'm going to focus on doing and learn just what I need to do. Right? So, you know, right now on university, you find the project, not just things, and plan for everything to be perfect. What you should do is go and do it. And do it, and then you learn a little bit. Oh, now I know as much as you want, as you can, until you need to learn a little bit more. Okay? So that's what we call just-in-time learning. And last but not least, it's all about results. Right? So I'm going to finish here with a little story that I love a lot. Right? Results are not something that come naturally. A lot of people tell me this. Oh, it's, you know, if I get better, I'm going to get better results. If I get better, if I learn more, I'm going to get better jobs. Everyone tells me this, right? But that's not how it works. I love the story of Alice in Wonderland, right? And there's a moment that Alice asks the cat, right? She's lost. So she asks the cat, "Would you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here?" And the cat, right? And then Alice goes on and says, "I don't much care where." To which the cat responds, the most wisest thing ever. There he is. Then it doesn't matter which way you go. We have to know what we want, right? We have to know, what do I want? Do I want to make more money? Do I want to, you know, have a cool lifestyle and spend more time with my family or travel around the world? What do I want? Because we don't learn programming just to learn programming. We don't do software just to do software. We do because we want something. And that's something we have lost, like Alice got lost here. Because if you just walk aimlessly, right? That story doesn't end there, because Alice tries to explain to the cats, and she says, so long as I get somewhere. And this is completely wrong.
What?
The cat says, oh, you're sure to do that, said the cat, if you only walk long enough. A lot of developers think this. If I keep doing the same thing I'm doing, eventually I'm gonna get there. If science of skills, the science of Nyland shows that keep doing the same thing, it's have to change. We have to force ourselves. So if you want to get somewhere, it's not about walking long enough, the right way to get where you want. So with this, we have the science of skills that can really help us do the 5 most important skills that we need as a developer, and we can grow all the time. Make sense?
Super good.
Right? So I'm gonna give you guys one book that is this book here. I wrote this book, The Best Developer Job Ever. That is a lot of my knowledge on how to get those things. So this book is available on Amazon, so you can buy it on a Kindle. But if you come, wait, don't take a picture right now. Here, now you can take a picture, right? So you can come here right now, go to this URL, and put your name. First of all, you're gonna get this book over for you on email, right? It's a PDF version. It's a short book that goes directly to the point. It teaches you what is it you need to do to get the best job ever. It teaches of rejection and the path of acceptance. Every time we get a job, we try to get a job, there's a path of rejection and there's a path to reject you, right? Because the resume, but there is another path, there's a path of acceptance that I show you in this book, is the path of people wanting you to work for them. On the path of acceptance, people are gonna go before they need you. So that's what this book talks about.
Awesome.
That's the first thing. The second thing that you're gonna get when you put your name and email there is that you're gonna get an email from me. So you're gonna get my contact. All right? Okay. So I'm gonna be here for as long as you want to answer questions. If anyone's watching us online, I think we dropped the connection so many times that I doubt anyone's watching us.
Dude, it was like this big fog in my mind. And these guys, Bruno, they were database experts.
Yeah.
They were Oracle database experts.
Yeah, because you said you started with database, right?
Yeah. I mean, you know Rice University in Houston? They call that the Harvard of the South.
Mm-hmm.
And all these little pinheads were graduates from Rice University. And so Rick, the guy that hired me, took me off programming and he made me a marketing guy. And let me tell you something, if your heart is not in it, it is a hard thing. My big takeaway, you're gonna like this,
Okay.
from that job. I came into work and 2 things happened in a very short period of time with the secretary. And the secretary didn't like me because I would give her work to do, and instead of printing a draft and giving it to me, she used Rick's expensive stationery. She gave it to me, and she had all kinds of mistakes on it. So I made her do it over and over again. And Rick got pissed off at her because she was using up his expensive stationery. He was really uncooperative with me, in addition to all the developers.
Maybe we should stop transmitting this, right? Or I don't know.
Are you?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, well, anyway. And this is me in my marketing position, right, which I hated. One day she came in and she bought this book, which I have at the house. She went to the store and I'm trying to remember what it's called, but it pissed me off so bad because it's like, how to become a better salesman. And it was like, you know, fine, thank you very much. So, I heard that big company, Tenneco, was actually making 30K, but I told them 40K and they offered me 50K. And I came in one morning and he said, why? And I said, because I've got a job at Tenneco. And he said, why do you want to work for a big corporation like Tenneco when you can work here with all the, well, you know, they got some benefits, like, you know, you got Christmas parties and, you know, nice office. I'm working in this little, you know. He said, and this was my big takeaway from that job, I've never forgotten this party. So I worked for Tenneco. They got bought by El Paso Energy. El Paso, bought Tenneco, so they hated the Tenneco. And I worked for Enron for 6 months until they imploded, and that's when I started my own company,
Right.
25 years ago.
Okay, congratulations, man.
And it's been friggin' great. But I always have that phrase, what would you rather do? Invite me to the party.
Yeah. That's why you gotta share what you know.
And it was, and everybody else was getting jobs that paid, a lot more than $30,000. Painful,
Painful. Yes, has to be painful.
but.
So how about you? What you're suffering right now? Biggest difficulty you're going through? What you want in your career to get? How far you want to get? Any of those answers would be good for just get started.
What was my end
Mm-hmm.
goal?
Right.
And I said that maybe I would like to get a job with an international company and just live in different. I'm not from here, I'm from a different country, and I lived in a third country, so I'm not foreign to moving and having to survive, in other places and learning languages and things like that. So I think I would enjoy that, and I want to do that.
That's a great goal.
Yeah. So.
And what do you think prevents you from today from achieving that?
Well, I just need to learn enough to get a job.
Right.
So that's what I'm doing.
That's
Okay.
what I was telling you earlier,
So-
I said you said you just started out in Java, and I said there's a lot of.
Wait for you to get a job, right? And so Ottava went to put. I think we need to put more money in the car because.
Oh, yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah. So so the best way for you to get a job is for you to be on the acceptance path.
I'm gonna, because he won't be able to get back in,
Oh.
so I'm gonna hold the door for him.
Having people wanting you to work for them, right? A lot of people think that the best way to get a job is kind of send lots of resumes, and that's okay. You can
Not
get.
very efficient.
It's not very efficient, but that's okay. You can do that. But the problem with the resume, you get, you send me a resume, and the idea is that if I'm gonna reject everyone that's not fit, with the hope that eventually person and companies will filter your resume out in lots of different ways, right? So there's all kinds of things that the company's going to use to filter out you. So with the objective of we're going to weed out all the bad time because we all be competing, and that's okay. But the problem is that that's not the way it works, right? The truth is, if I trust you, I want you to work for me. If I was on your team, a company. If I know you, why am I going to choose someone that I don't know? Make sense? You see the thing, right? So if I know who you are, I prefer you with the advantages and disadvantages that I know about you than someone that's unknown. Right? So if I trust you, that's the word. If I trust you before I. Make sense? So that's the path of acceptance. And the path of acceptance is even trainee jobs will have that. So the fact is the best positions ever are not filled by resumes. The best positions ever are offered by two people. Right? So so the thing is, if everyone was competing on the path of rejection, a lot of people competing for the path of rejection, and there's one and two on the path of acceptance. So those people on the path of acceptance, they are not competing with anyone else. They are competing with themselves, right? So if you, right, if you can't come to work for me, maybe they're gonna have a chance. So it's all about you. You are on the path of acceptance. If you say no, those people have a chance. But if you say yes, they're never going to even be heard. And what you know is so important. People need to know who you are. They need to trust you before they need you. There's lots of ways for people to trust you. But that's just a tiny little percent of people. You can't rely on them. Because it's just we can, right? A lot of things happen out of those groups. But know the things that you know, that we're gonna trust you because they're gonna follow you on Twitter, they're gonna follow you on Facebook, they're gonna interact with you, they're gonna see your videos, they're gonna see who you are. Way before she's the person we need you for this position. Make sense? So that is the way for you to get the best jobs. Of course, you're gonna be part of submitting resumes, of course, right? But the sooner you start doing this kind of things, and colleagues is just a little bit of people, right? But they're important. They're gonna work for great companies later on, right? So if you share with your colleagues, they're gonna remember you later. So the sooner you start doing this, the better results you're gonna have. Make sense? So that's, for me, is the biggest one, because that will gonna get you to the great jobs. More questions?
No?
You're fine? Everything else? Your learning is okay, your
Yeah.
university is okay, everything else is great? Okay. So thank you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for staying all this time. Hopefully you can take a look at the book. You got 2 books today,
Yeah.
so that's so.
Didn't have pizza.
We didn't have pizza for you. That's really bad, and we took a little bit longer here.
It's fine.
Okay. You need a ride anywhere?
No, I have
You
a car.
have a car? Okay, good. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you go out, if you can tell the guys there that we've